dun da da dun 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 da da dun 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 da da dun 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 da da dun 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 Welcome everyone to Call to the Bullpen.
I'm fired up. Are you fired up?
It's your boy Chasey B, followed with his co-hosts
Jared Silberkleid
and Austin Keeney.
That's right, we got a real fired up episode for you because we got a huge...
I got the adrenaline flowing through my veins. I'm so jacked up. Why? Because the New York Giants are on a bye this week, which means they can't lose.
They can't lose, baby. We can't lose.
We can't lose.
That's right. We got a huge Week 9 preview for everyone, and we are just so excited about it. We're ready to be back in your ear holes and ready to give you some advice. Now, for these previews, we've got, let's see, only 13 NFL games because we got 6 teams on bye.
Yep. It's a lighter week. It's short. It's fast. It's heavy. Let's get started. We're starting off with a Thursday night barn burner. My favorite term of the week, Raiders at 49ers.
Didn't we just have this game last time? I'm sorry. 49ers, Cardinals, Raiders, Colts. It's like the same crappy teams play each other.
I can't believe the schedule makers with seeing this. I mean, one week you get the Raiders, Colts, and the 49ers, Cardinals. The next week you have the Raiders and 49ers.
To be fair, when they made the schedule, they didn't know John Gruden was going to come in and literally fire sale the entire team.
And they didn't know that Garoppolo was going to go down along with McKinnon. And,
So, this game 9 weeks ago, actually way before that, because the schedule came out way before that, but when the schedule came out, 49ers at Raiders seemed like a great primetime game. I mean, you got Khalil Mack, you got Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, he was.
Yeah, because the schedule came out before he was traded. That's what I'm saying. You got Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, Richard Sherman.
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy who? Jimmy who?
Sorry. I must have been mistaken. Jimmy Graham plays for the
Jordy
Packers.
Nelson?
Jordy Nelson is the person.
All right, I'm glad
the
Jordy
ex-Packer,
Nelson.
not the new Packer, but the ex-Packer.
There we go. This game looked great on paper half a year ago when they came out with the schedule, and here we are, and nobody's going to watch this game.
Doesn't look so good on paper.
No, it looks awful. No one's going to pay attention. No one cares. Raiders fans don't care.
This is part of the race for the number. By the way, the 49ers, man, imagine if they were halfway decent, because guess what? On 3 straight weeks this season, they're getting the Cardinals, which, by the way, they've already lost that game, the Raiders, and the Giants 3 straight weeks. Imagine if they were okay.
I was going to say, they have a pretty easy schedule if you think about it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they're just as bad as all those teams I just mentioned.
And they played the Broncos, and honestly, the Broncos aren't that great.
Oh, man, they stink. So this game is going to be bad. I think that the Raiders have showed a little bit more upside offensively than the 49ers have. That's exactly what I said about the 49ers and Cardinals last week, that just goes to show you that you're dealing with bottom-of-the-barrel stuff. So I think the Raiders will do enough to outscore San Francisco, but it's going to be an ugly game. No one's going to want to watch this.
I agree. I also have the Raiders here. It's not a sexy pick, I don't think. In fact, it's the underdog pick. We're looking at the line right now.
There's nothing sexy about this game, Chase.
49ers are -3, so take that for what it is. I'm taking the underdog here. I'm taking the Raiders. I think that Derek Carr will at least put up some points for this team.
Sure. Austin?
I'm taking the 49ers.
Wow.
Mid-podcast change.
Mid-podcast change. I have the Raiders on paper. They suck. They're just bad. The 49ers are not good in any way, shape, or form. But I'm just saying the 49ers are going to pull this one out. Jace is deleting my Raiders pick as we speak, and I'm just telling you right now, 49ers at home, they're winning this game, no doubt in my mind.
These two teams
no
have a
doubt in my
Listen,
mind.
these two teams have a combined 2 wins between the two of them, so nothing's out of the question here.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Raiders want to have only
They
one win
each
game?
have 1 win.
Oh, good God. Do you know that means they have the same amount of wins as the Cardinals combined?
And the same amount of wins as the
not the
I'm
Giants.
sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
In fact, you might want this to be a tie because technically you're not the worst.
Then
team
we're
in the
going to have
division.
we want the edge for the draft pick.
Oh, yeah, it's full tank season for you?
Oh, the tank is on, man.
Very well.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Let's move on.
Steelers at Ravens. Yeah, we spent way too much time on that game. Steelers at Ravens, and the Ravens beat the Steelers earlier this season in Pittsburgh. I just can't see the Ravens pulling off another win over the Steelers, especially considering that these teams are trending in opposite directions. The Steelers are starting to get right on offense, and the Ravens have now demonstrated a bit of offensive inconsistency. So I'm going with the momentous team here.
Or hear me out.
Or
do they have their number? And I mean, not like their telephone number. I mean, like their number.
No, they listen. This has been a very fierce, intense rivalry over the last 10 years, especially really throughout the Flacco era, and even a little, I guess, before then too, when the Ravens still had McNair, and they were still trying to find out what their offensive identity was going to be like. So it's been a really aggressive, fun rivalry to watch, but I just don't think that the Ravens have it in them to beat this team twice in one season, just especially with the way, again, both teams trending in opposite directions.
Are you saying Joe Flacco
is elite?
Is a fluke?
Ooh.
No, I'm not saying he's a fluke. I'm saying he's not.
You're kind of saying he's a fluke.
He's not playing that well
the
right
Ravens
now.
don't have it in him to beat the Steelers.
What do you define a fluke as? Somebody who played really well one time but isn't actually good.
He is going through a rough stretch to this season, and I think that they're catching the Steelers at the wrong time.
So he's a fluke.
That doesn't make him a fluke.
Chase.
He's inconsistent.
He's a fluke.
He's inconsistent.
He's a fluke.
Which means when he was playing well, it was a fluke.
No.
Yes.
He's played
That's
well.
Exactly what
he has played well many times throughout his career. This is a guy.
But he's also played horrendous many times throughout his career.
So he's inconsistent. That doesn't.
He's a fluke.
A fluke would be a one-timer. He's not a one-timer. He's
He is a one-timer.
He's a many-timer.
He's got one Super Bowl.
Okay, there is more to this league than just winning Super Bowls.
No, there isn't. It's the NFL. It's all about winning rings.
We can't measure a player just by how many rings he has.
Yes, we can.
Joe
We measure everybody by that.
Joe Flacco has led the Ravens on multiple playoff runs.
But he's lost.
He has won tons of playoff games with this team.
But how
he's
many
led
Super
them
Bowls
to
does he
many
have?
winning seasons.
How many Super Bowls does he have?
So he's got one. That's one.
He's a fluke.
That's one more than a
So he's
lot
a
of
fluke.
other people have.
So he's a fluke.
So that one was a fluke then.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
In Joe Flacco's rookie season, he took the Ravens to the AFC Championship game.
But didn't win.
They got there.
All right, I want you to compare. I'm gonna throw out people, and I want you to say if Joe Flacco's better than them. Okay? That's seriously.
Okay.
There's a little game here.
All right, fine.
Alex Smith.
Yes, better.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. It's not even close.
Wow.
All right, Mr. Rings.
No.
Show me Alex Smith's rings.
Okay. Oh no. Go on.
Do you remember?
Hold on. I'm not done yet. All right. So Roethlisberger.
No.
Okay. I'm just trying to find a middle ground here.
He is middle ground. He's middle of the road.
Who is?
Joe Flacco. He's not a great passer,
now-
but he's pretty good.
Now take your feelings out of this one.
All right.
This is the last one.
Eli Manning?
Eli.
Eli Manning is better than Joe Flacco.
Right now or all time or like in his career?
In his career, better career.
I'd agree with in his career.
He's a better career.
So right now,
he's had a better career than I would say it's hard to judge Eli because of the lack of the offensive line, but I mean right now they're like equals, I think. I mean they're both not playing very well.
all right, I'll throw this over to Austin then.
Yeah.
Does that make Eli a fluke?
No, because
Absolutely not.
He didn't.
Because how many rings does Eli have?
Oh my gosh.
So
there
he's
goes
not a fluke.
Jared, ergo, that theory, if A is better than B is better than C.
No,
A
that
is better
Joe
than
Flacco
C.
is
That is
fluke.
no. The A
That's
is
trigonometry, gentlemen.
that is not the logic that you use in the NFL when judging players and teams. So I disagree. I disagree with everything that just took place. But I hope you enjoyed the discussion, everybody.
Very
Joe
good.
Flacco's a fluke.
We're all taking the Steelers,
We're all
by the
taking the
way.
Steelers.
Even though Jared
It's just
just
Joe Flacco's
even
a
though
fluke.
Jared just defended
Now
the
listen,
Ravens.
I'm like I said, I believe that the NFL has always been it's been a momentum league for as long as I can remember. And although I think the Ravens are a talented team with the capacity to beat the Steelers because they've done it already, I just think that they're catching the team at the wrong time, and it's hard to beat the same team twice in 1 year.
Fair enough. Next up, Bears at the Bills.
Bills stink. They're starting Nathan Peterman. They're starting Nathan Peterman. Can I play too?
Call
the ambulance.
Everybody, sell your house and bet every dollar you have on the Bears. We don't condone betting, but for the love of God, put your retirement on the Bears.
All right,
Bears by 9?
Hey,
Bears by 107.
I got it right here. Hey, all you crazy college kids, you want a really fun drinking game? Play the take a shot for every interception Nathan Peterman throws. Actually, don't do that. You might have to call an ambulance. They might have to pump your stomach.
I actually might do that. That makes
You
sense.
think they'll pull Nathan Peterman and put back in somebody else?
They have to. Look,
who are they going to put in?
Derek Anderson. Look, listen.
Derek Anderson's hurt. That's it. I got nobody.
Sean McCoy? Maybe they'll make McCoy throw the ball.
They probably have a third stringer or maybe it's the punter,
backup kicker,
yeah.
the placeholder. Yeah, the backup kicker.
Either way, Nathan Peterman has to play this game because nobody else can.
If I'm the Bills, I would keep an eye on the fans during the tailgate when they're throwing the ball back and forth. Maybe you see a fan who's doing okay. Hey, that guy got a decent arm out there.
You hit that pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that Nathan Peterman is starting.
Let's put you under center.
I wonder if they have an open tryout. I mean, you should really go, Chase.
I think I might have.
Nathan Peterman is starting against the freaking Bears defense.
But I don't want Khalil Mack to eat me
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, guys!
Oh, that'd be so frightening.
Oh my god!
Khalil Mack breathed down my neck, and then he walks by me. He's like,
"All right." So I will be absolutely stunned if the Bills score more than 10 points in this game.
And with that, we all have the Bears in this one. We don't think the Bills will score much, if at all. Bears will take this one very easily. Moving on to the Jets at the Dolphins. Another great game, 1 o'clock on a Sunday. Dolphins favored in this one. What do you guys think?
I think that they shouldn't be favorited. Because
I think they're only favored because they're at home.
No, they should be favored. They have already. Listen,
Mr. Superman is not home.
So are you changing your pick to the Dolphins?
No, I'm not changing my pick.
Who's the quarterback?
Okay, it's Brock Osweiler.
Guess what month this game will be played in?
November?
That's
not
right.
October.
Not Brocktober.
Well, Brocktober's been bad, so maybe that's a good thing.
Brovember?
Yeah.
Brockvember?
I gotta say, I'm doing a lot. This is much like the Ravens game where I'm doing a lot of defending for a team I'm not going to pick because I'm going to go back to the Ravens game. It's actually the same principle. The fact that I think that both teams are kind of... Well, that's actually not a factual statement. Both teams are not trending in opposite directions. Neither team is doing particularly well. However, I don't think that the Dolphins are going to beat the Jets twice in 1 year because of their defensive struggles and the fact that Sam Darnold, I'm not saying he's looked so good that I'm saying he's 100% due for a win, but he's faced some really tough defensive matchups, and this is finally a defense that should be a little bit easier for him to throw that ball downfield against. And although this game is in Miami, the fact that the Dolphins have already won once in this rivalry this year makes me think that the Jets are going to get their win back.
There's no doubt in my mind that Miami plays better at home. I just can't put my money on Brock Osweiler. I can't do it.
They are a much worse team with him under center.
Ryan Tannehill, yeah, I mean, if you look at Ryan Tannehill's record now that Brock has taken over for, I think this will be his 4th game, Ryan Tannehill's record was like 3-2 or something like that. So sure. He is definitely the caliber for this offense, and without
everybody was singing this guy's praises when they were 3-0. They were saying, "Oh my gosh, this team is so much better with him under center."
They are,
yeah,
they are. So I still think if Ryan Tannehill's not under center, then I'm not going to pick the Dolphins.
No,
100%. I'm on the Jets in this one. Also, I don't think the Dolphins have what it takes to pull it out. So we're all going to take the Jets. Moving on to the Chiefs and the Browns. We're all taking the Browns. I'm joking.
Who's taking the Browns?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you are if you want to be fun.
I'll be taking the Browns to the Super Bowl during this game.
Yeah, right. The Chiefs are taking the Browns all the way to the bank.
Yeah, I mean, we said it in our recap episode how the Browns really made the right move by standing behind the locker room, standing behind Baker Mayfield, by eliminating Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley from the equation. But that being said, now you're coming into this game with no offense, with Greg Williams leading the squad, coming in against the AFC's best offense. This is not going to be a fun matchup for the Browns defense.
This is another game I would bet the house on. I think the Chiefs are going to win by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for Cleveland. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do here. They're just going to get overwhelmed.
How are they going to prepare for this? There's just no way.
They don't have the capacity to keep up with the Chiefs at this stage. Not at all.
And with all the coaching changes and everything that's going on in that back office, there's just no way.
Yeah.
Yup. Chiefs are pulling this one off, and probably by a lot. We're all taking the Chiefs across the board. Falcons, Redskins.
This is an interesting game.
Yeah, Jared, you're going with the Falcons. Why don't you start us off in this one?
Well, I think that what the Redskins have done, much like I said in our recap episode, they have been a model of consistency defensive-wise this season so far. However, I don't think that it's going to take a lot of offensive firepower to end their little winning streak and to kind of bring them back down to reality a little bit. I think that although Washington is a better home team than road team, and it's getting a little colder for a dome team. I think this game means a lot more to Atlanta than it does Washington. They need this game in such a competitive division if they want to have any prayer of getting back into the wild card race. It's a huge difference to be 4-4 versus 3-5. And I think that if Atlanta gets to 21, 24 points, that's going to be enough. And I think that Matt Ryan is playing well enough and has enough versatility as far as weapons go to get his team to that mark, to top Washington here.
Thoughts on the addition of Clinton Dix to that defense that you're saying Matt Ryan's going to rip apart?
I didn't say rip apart, but I said do enough damage to win. And yeah, Clinton Dix gives a little bit of gives some depth to a secondary that now is looking really good with him, DJ Swearinger, Josh Norman. However, the Falcons are multiple enough with their receiving options. I think that the emergence of Calvin Ridley does a lot for their capacity this season, and I think Matt Ryan's going to find a way to make his plays.
You know what me and you always love to talk about?
Yep.
When the dome teams travel up north,
yes,
into the bitter cold and into Washington.
Yep.
And it's going to be outside, and Matt Ryan's going to be playing against a tough, gritty defense that just added Clinton Dix, and the Redskins are going to run the ball with Adrian Peterson on them. It's a bad recipe, man. It's a bad recipe for the Falcons.
100%. I got the Redskins in this one. I think everything that you just reiterated will pan out for the Redskins in this one. I think Adrian Peterson's been running the ball very well this year. I think Alex Smith has been throwing the ball very well this year. I think the Redskins defense, with everybody that was mentioned, and also Ryan Kerrigan, who's been definitely a body and a presence in that linebacking core for the Redskins, I really think that they're surprising a lot of people, and they're going to pull this one off against the Falcons, no doubt.
Well, we'll see. Like I said, I think that the Falcons need this one a lot more, and I think that's going to show up, but it should be a good game for sure, and the conditions will be a factor because it's getting colder. I have the Falcons. You guys got the Redskins. Moving on, we have the Vikings hosting the Lions in a division battle. I don't know about you guys, but I think this is a game that Minnesota really needs to have. You can't afford to drop back-to-back home games, especially against the Lions, who just lost by 2 scores to the Seahawks at home. So now they're going on the road. I don't think if you're Minnesota, you can afford another loss in this playoff race.
Both of these teams need wins. If the Lions want any hope of getting a playoff spot, or anyway getting back into this playoff race, they need to beat their division rivals.
They don't have the talent, though.
No,
and they just lost Golden Tate.
Yeah, I don't. 100%. They just lost Golden Tate, and that was one of the best bodies that they had.
100% agree. I don't think the Lions are going to win this game, but they're going to play them hard, and they know that this is do or die for them. So there is a definite world where this game is close, and I think the Lions have a shot. I think any team in the NFL has a shot against any other NFL team. I'm going to pick the Vikings, but I would not be shocked if this was a 3-point game.
Well, if the sloppiness shows up, I think the Vikings could be in trouble for sure, but I just think this is a game where they really got to get their heads screwed on straight because they really have kind of had a disappointing season so far, and at some point, if they want to have any hope of making noise in the playoffs, they have to get right. They have to get hot. They have to prove that they can play at the level of the Saints and Rams if they have any hope of trying to make it to the Super Bowl. They haven't done that so far, and it starts with taking care of your business against these lesser teams.
Moving on to the Bucs at the Panthers. I think this one, I don't want to say is a given, but we're all taking the Panthers. The Panthers are playing. Yeah, Fitzpatrick is playing, so maybe there's still a little bit of magic in the air, but they are going into Carolina, and Carolina is looking like an absolute powerhouse lately.
Powerhouse is a strong word. A good team.
Oh, God, I'm going to do something stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I can feel it.
Oh, yes.
The Fitz.
The hand of doom is.
Fitz magic is taking over me.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Buccaneers. It's a division rival game. The Bucs always play the Panthers hard every year. You can look back at it.
They do.
Past 4 years, they always play the Panthers hard.
They were able to beat the Saints in the Superdome.
I know that this game is home for the Panthers, and I really like the Panthers this year, but I honestly think that the Buccaneers might have a shot with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think that the team's going to play a little bit hotter with him because this is his first game back, and that's what happened to start the season. I can see them pulling off an upset here.
I can see it too, but I just think that I haven't seen anything from Tampa Bay this year in terms of defense. On top of that, it's a second straight road game against a team that's proven the ability to force turnovers. So I feel more comfortable going with Carolina, but I do agree that this game, I'm not going to say will, like no doubt, but it certainly could be closer than expected, especially considering that we know that Tampa Bay's offense has a lot more upside with Fitzpatrick.
That's what I'm saying.
That being said, let's not forget, the starting position was his early in the season. He lost his starting position because of his play in back-to-back performances week 3 and week 4. So it's not a given that he's going to play out of his mind great, but I agree with going with the more enthusiastic choice of starting him over Jameis Winston. I am going with Carolina. I feel more comfortable picking them given their consistency so far this year.
Definitely, and I got Carolina. Like I said, I think they're just looking like a real strong team lately. They've been playing very well offensively and defensively. They've been pulling out some big wins, some lesser wins, but definitely putting the W's up on the board. And I don't think that Fitzmagic is enough pixie dust and rabbits in the hat to pull off a win in Carolina.
He's been storing it all up for this game because he's been on the bench.
Well, the magician's tricks have been outed.
The bunny is in the hat.
The bunny's dead.
So cruel and gruesome.
So cruel and
animal.
Gruesome. Speaking of cruel and gruesome, we have the Texans beating the Broncos this week. And I say beating the Broncos because the Texans got to win out. And Chase is going to argue with me because, he's a Broncos fan.
I'm not going to argue with you, though.
Of course you're not, because the Texans got to win out.
Not only
Broncos are favorited, by the way.
Nah, blah, blah, they're favorited. Listen, the Texans are really
Actually, as of recording time, CBS Sports has this as a pick.
Wow. It opened at 2 for the Broncos, so that means people are betting hard on the Texans.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, because the Texans not only are...
Wait, why?
You think because of D-Tom?
Because they got to win out.
Actually...
It's not just D-Tom, though. They have extra rest coming into this game, and they have all the momentum in the world. They've got a 5-game winning streak coming in against the Broncos, who they're pretty much guaranteed to turn over a game with Case Keenum. You can't lie that he's been turning the ball over like crazy this season.
Yeah, sure, but the Broncos play great at home.
They do, but the Texans' defense is starting to get right, and Deshaun Watson coming...
Are they? You think that the Texans' defense has been winning them these games?
It's been better than it was earlier.
It has been better, yes.
Yeah, no, it's improving by the week, and I think that, listen, I'm not expecting Deshaun Watson to have to repeat the type of performance he had against Miami, because Denver's defense is a lot more to contend with, but that being said, I just think that Denver's offensive limitations against a rising offense doesn't give me a lot of confidence that they can outscore Houston here. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be a blowout or anything like that. Far from it. I expect this to be quite the tight game. But I do feel more comfortable going with the rested Houston that's got a lot more to play for at this point because of the Broncos season. I mean, I got to say, it's pretty much over at this point with how far they've fallen behind the Chiefs.
They're 3-5.
Yeah, you're right. They're 3-5. They got a losing record.
They're not going to win the division, but there's wild cards.
There is very, very slim wild card hope, and they're playing against a team that's they're looking to potentially, head toward a division title, and I think that all the momentum's on Houston's side here.
I agree 100% with all the momentum being on Houston's side, especially D-Tom leaving the Broncos. I think is going to be a little bit of chemistry and momentum blow for the Broncos, and an addition to the Texans. The fact that it happened when it happened, in that the two teams that he was traded from and to play each other next, there's definitely going to be a little bit of chemistry mess up. There's guys that love D-Tom in that locker room on the Broncos. Von Miller put up a picture today and captioned it, "I'm going to be crying on my way home." So he's very upset about the loss of D-Tom. And the fact that the Texans had the blow of Fuller going down, thinking, man, what are we going to do? He's been, DeAndre Hopkins is a great receiver, but he's been the numbers guy this year. He's had the career year so far. What are we going to do? And they bring in D-Tom. I think that little bit of excitement and adrenaline and energy bringing in a guy like that is really going to push him over the top.
Here's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the offensive line against the Denver's pass rush, and the Texans have a bad offensive line.
That is a bad matchup for Houston. Yes. I agree with you.
So that's what's going to control this game for the Denver. If Denver's going to win this, it's going to be Von Miller and Bradley Chubb getting pressure on Deshaun Watson, causing him to make mistakes, doing it at home in a really loud, cold environment that the Texans might not be used to. I definitely can see Denver winning this game, and I don't think that Demaryius Thomas is going to be a factor at all.
He very well might not be. But you're going with the Broncos.
This sounds like a Wheel of Punishment bet, by the way. It does.
Is it? Is it?
Yup.
I guess so. Yeah, sure. It's all hypothetical at this point, so why don't we make everything wheel of punishment?
Oh, you heard it here first. Jared's wheel punishment in anything.
Exactly.
That's right. I didn't agree.
We haven't done a single wheel of punishment yet, so
we're putting it out there. Maybe it's gonna when it happens.
It might be an end of the year thing.
Yeah, it might. It might be. There might be a whole barrage of videos coming your way, folks. So stay tuned.
Yeah, please, for the love of God, if you're listening to this, message us, comment. I don't even care. Send a carrier pigeon. Tell me what to do on this wheel of punishment.
For all
we don't want to come up with the ideas. We want you to come up with the ideas so it's more interactive on your side. If you tell me to jump in a freezing cold pond, hell, maybe I will. Just tell me to do it, and I'll decide if it's worth doing or not. Again, I'm not chopping off my right arm, but if you tell me something that's funny and worth doing, I'll probably do it. Please, if you're listening, comment, message, carrier pigeon, snail mail. Don't care. Don't send it in USPS because they lose everything. Other than that, let us know how and let us know what you want us to do. I'm going on the Texans because hashtag gotta win out.
Yep.
Jared going on the Texans. Chase sticking with the hometown Broncos. Chargers at Seahawks. Jared, you're ripping the Seahawks here.
I am because here's an unknown stat. Maybe unknown. Russell Wilson has never lost at home to an AFC team in his career. And although the Chargers are coming into this game with extra rest, Seattle is still a really hard place to play. And we saw that they gave the Rams a game earlier this season, a real good game. They actually put up 31 on them. And the Chargers might be 5-2, but I haven't been overly impressed with them. And the fact that they've been missing Joey Bosa all season has left a huge hole in that defense. And having a hole up front against a team that's building a lot of momentum running the ball, that's not a good matchup. I think that the Seahawks are finding an unexpected rhythm on offense with the emergence of this rush attack, the way the offensive line is playing. Russell Wilson is still Russell Wilson, and the Seahawks are giving me a bit of renewed faith. I think that this is kind of an unexpected, under-the-radar game between two teams that people don't realize are contenders. When you look at this game, I think people, just because they're not really two talked-about bunches really in either conference. So this is an interesting matchup, but I think that the Seahawks, they need this game a little bit more than the Chargers do, just because the Chargers are a little bit more comfortably ahead in their wild card race, whereas the Seahawks, they really need to stay ahead of teams like the Packers. So I like them at home.
I don't mind the Seahawks here either, but I'm going to take the Chargers. I am a Bronco fan, so I should probably be picking against the Chargers because I need them to lose for a playoff spot. But, I like the Chargers here. I think that they've been playing good. If Melvin Gordon doesn't play in this game, I will be changing my answer definitely to the Seahawks. But if Melvin Gordon's back, they're all healthy. You got Keenan Allen, Phillip Rivers. The defense is getting better as the season goes on.
Well, Joey Bosa's still out, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, Bosa hasn't played all year. I don't even
and they've been good without him, so that's a good point.
If Keenan Allen could find the end zone, that'd be great for my fantasy team. Bust.
You can trade me for Matt Ryan like you keep trying to do.
Nope.
I'll keep Tom Brady. He won't throw a touchdown against the Bills.
Yeah, I have Drew Brees too.
Oh, wow, that's a good lineup.
I'm just saying.
He doesn't need Matt Ryan.
I'm 6-2, and I have Matt Ryan on the bench. Trade me for a wide
receiver. I was going to say he's 6-2 with the Chiefs' offense.
Exactly.
Anybody who has that offense is 6-2. All right, but I'll be taking the. What am I talking about? The Chargers.
The Chargers, right. Pending Melvin.
Yeah, pending Melvin.
Rams at Saints.
This is a great game. Wow, this is a great game. This is awesome. You got the two best teams in football at this point.
Can we switch this to prime time?
Seriously. Why is this Can we switch this to the night game so I can go drink and watch this thing?
Yeah, what the heck?
I mean, I'll be drinking and watching it anyways, let's be honest. But, why is it on a 4:25 game?
Oh, that's why.
Oh, we got a two.
Yeah, that's why. Because we got to watch the Packers and the Patriots.
Ooh, that's gonna be sweet.
The Super Bowl.
Let's talk about the Rams and the Saints.
We'll talk about the Rams Saints first because that game's also going to be awesome. This is pretty much for the number one seed in the NFC, right?
For the most part, yes.
Well, as of right now. If they win, they'll have the tiebreaker.
As of right now, it is, and I think unquestionably this is the Rams' toughest remaining game. If you're talking about them potentially going for a perfect season, and I'm going to say that it's going to be good for them in the long run if they don't get to 16-0, because I just don't think that with a team that's still relatively inexperienced in the playoffs, if you want to ride in there with the pressure of having to become the NFL's first undefeated team to go 19-0, I think that's a little too much for this team. I think that they're probably better off if they lose a game or two. I think that this is their best best opportunity for a loss just based on the matchup, based on the fact that the Saints found a defense last week against Minnesota, and we know how hard of a place the Superdome is to play. This is going to be a really fun game, a really high-scoring game, a really exciting game with, two teams that could, again, they're just so multiple on offense. Both of them, they can hurt you with the running game, hurt you through the air, and the Rams have beefed up their defensive front, but I don't think it's going to impact Breeze too much in this game. I think there are going to be times where he's going to get rocked, but I think overall he's still going to experience that success at home that he always has because the Rams secondary has shown the ability to be picked apart at times this season, even though they're unbeaten. So I think the Saints will make enough offensive plays to win this game. This could be a last team with the ball situation, but I'm expecting a great game.
I'm going to take the Saints here, too. I think that Alvin Kamara is going to be the reason why the Saints win this game. I don't think that the Rams have anybody to put on him. I don't think they have a linebacker that can keep up with him. They don't have a cornerback that can tackle him. I just don't think that anybody can match up with Alvin Kamara, so I think that he's going to be the main reason that they win this game. And also they got the power back in Mark Ingram, who if they need to power in a goal line carry to get through that tough defensive line like you were talking about, Mark Ingram's the guy. I really like the two of those backs. I think they're going to be the feature of this Saints team in order to slow down the Rams' offensive attack and try to keep them off the field.
I still think the Rams are going to pull this one out. I can't say I disagree with all of your points. They're very good points. The Rams are undefeated this year. They have a great team on paper and on the field. They've proven it time in and time out. We just talked about this in our review episode of how good teams find ways to win. They might not be able to stop them on defense, but maybe they'll outscore them. They might not be able to outscore them, but they'll stop them on defense. Special teams, they'll force turnovers, they'll return punts, they'll return kickoffs. Whatever it may be, the Rams have found a way to win these games. They've scraped out wins. They've won big. They've won by a little. They've won by a lot. They're a team that can find a way to win, and I think they'll find a way to win against the Saints. The Saints are a great team, don't get me wrong, but the Rams will squeak this one out. It's not going to be by a lot. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. And like you said, it might be down to a last team with the ball kind of situation, but I definitely think the Rams are going to pull this one out.
All right. Well, I mean, it should be awesome game nonetheless. I mean, these are probably, this is the race for whoever wins this game is going to stake their claim as the best team in the NFL. So that's going to be exciting. Next up, we have another marquee matchup. This is the primetime game. It's Packers at Patriots, everybody's stupid Super Bowl prediction every single year. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that will not be this year's Super Bowl. Like, absolutely not. I think that it's weird because the Packers looked really competitive against the Rams last week, but at the same time, I'd say their season is kind of in jeopardy based on the fact that as good as they looked against the Rams, they still fell to 3-3-1. If they lose this game, they're 3-4-1. That's not good. That's really not good, especially in a division where the Bears have kind of rose up as surprising contenders, and you know that the Vikings are good. They're still very much a threat. So the Packers are in third place right now. Although they look like they can hang with the best, you need to rack up wins if you want to make the playoffs. So I think all the pressure is on them in this game, and I think they're going to answer the call. I think that Aaron Rodgers is really hungry.
The call to the bullpen?
No, the call to number 12.
The other number 12.
The other number 12.
The other number 12.
I tried, guys. Sorry.
Listen, if you're Aaron Rodgers, after Ty Montgomery absolutely just takes the ball out of your hands, takes away a game-winning drive from you against the NFL's last unbeaten team, and then the Packers answer that action by getting rid of this guy immediately, that's the type of move that can really bring a team together. And I think Aaron Rodgers, he's really, he's just like an uncaged animal. He really wants to make up for what happened there or what could have been. And there's no better way to do that than by beating Tom Brady in his own house. And I can't wait to see him do it.
And let's think about it. Aaron Rodgers really hasn't been on a team that has been at like that elite level in a while. I think that the couple times that they have been in the playoffs, like when they beat your Giants in 2016, they were a wild card spot, or maybe they were one of the 4 seeds.
They were a division.
Yeah, the 4 seeds. But either way, the Packers have never been the type of team to go 13-3, 14-2. It's weird because you think, oh, it's Aaron Rodgers, they're going to win all these games. They really don't. They're usually like the 4th, 5th seed, or I think that when they won the Super Bowl, they were actually a wild card.
Yes.
So this isn't unfamiliar territory for Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. I definitely, like I said, on the last couple, you guys make great points on your arguments. Aaron Rodgers is one of the elite quarterbacks. The Packers are definitely a great team, but I think the loss of HaHa Clinton-Dix in the secondary is really going to hurt that defense. And I think that at home, Tom Brady is going to be able to pull this one out. Again, not by a lot. I think this is going to be a great game to watch. It's going to be a down-to-the-wire game. Maybe if Aaron Rodgers gets that last chance, unlike he did last week, to drive down the field and kick that game-winning field goal, they may have a chance. But I think Tom Brady pulls this one out in Foxborough.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Our last one is the Titans at the Cowboys. Unfortunately, they end with another crappy Monday night game.
This is actually, I think it could actually be a good game because much like the London game between Eagles and Jaguars, you've got 3-4 versus 3-4. So in tight division races, this could be another must-win game, I think. I think the loser's in big trouble here. So that being said, I think what you're looking at are two teams with offensive limitations, two teams with quarterbacks who do not have the highest ceilings. However, the Cowboys did add Amari Cooper, and although I have my doubts as far as how effective he's going to be with Dallas, they did have good timing in their acquisition of him, bringing him in during the bye week when they had extra time to scheme and get him accustomed to playing with Dak and learning the offense. I'm not saying that that means he's going to blow up in this game, but the timing was pretty good as far as bringing in a new guy to be your number one receiving option. So I think Dallas seems to play a bit better at home. They did completely own a very quality Jaguars unit. So I think that they'll do enough to beat Tennessee. I don't think Dallas is necessarily playoff bound. I still think that they will screw up like they always do. But I see them winning this game.
I don't see either of these teams making the playoffs. But one thing I know is true is that the Titans win games that they're not supposed to.
True.
They're not supposed to win this game. Everybody's high on the Cowboys and high on how Amari Cooper is going to change the offense. Titans are going to come in and they're going to run all over them because that's just what happens when the Titans aren't supposed to win.
I'm going with the Titans on this one too. I like the underdog pick in this game. I don't think the Cowboys have enough firepower to pull this one off. Like you said, Chase, the Titans are obnoxious.
Neither team does.
Correct, but we always say the Titans are obnoxious. The Titans are annoying. And what do? You're 100% right. They win the games they're not supposed to win. They win the annoying games. And, again, a lot of these games seem like they're going to be that last-minute field goal kind of thing. I think this is going to be won by the Titans by one of those last-minute scores, and the Cowboys just don't have enough to pull.
Yeah, I agree. Something low, too, like a 17-14 game.
Correct. Yeah,
or 20-17, something in that range.
Something ridiculous.
I got to say this, too. I mean, here's the thing with the Cowboys. I've just noticed this by watching them year in, year out. This is through the Romo years and now the Prescott years, save for the occasional really great season, like when they went 13-3 a couple of years ago, and they had that one year with Romo where they did the same thing. They're usually a team that's middle of the road. They're known for blowing it, but the reason that they blow those playoff opportunities is because they get themselves into a position where they could make a run in December. So they're usually never a terrible team. So if they go down a road that leads them to 5-11, I just don't see that happening. I see them finishing more in that 7-9, 8-8 range, missing the playoffs still, but at the same time giving themselves a chance to compete. So that's why I think they'll win this game to keep that half and half.
And that's going to wrap us up for our NFL Week 9 preview.
As always, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Stitcher, Libsyn, iTunes, Spotify. Follow us. Subscribe to our pages. Our YouTube page, please subscribe. It's our newest page. We're really trying to grow that page. If you're listening on Spotify, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. Please leave some good comments behind on iTunes. It'll really help grow our following on there. If you're listening on any other format, message us, comment on our pages, let us know where you're listening so that we can maybe update those a little bit better so that you have a better interface of where you're listening. We'd really love to hear where everybody's coming from and what the best way to listen to us is. Share our Facebook pages, our Instagram pages, our Twitter pages with your friends, family, your followers. Really start to grow this for us and help us as best as you can, because we would really love to grow our following. And as always, thank you for your continued support. Again, please let us know where you're listening and what we can do better to entertain you. This has been Called to the Bullpen.
And we are hanging up.